Coming up on Tech News today, why the Wii condom was a failure, why Brazil is so awesome, and why you can't sell your used car. All that and more coming up.
Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
Bandwidth for Tech News Today is provided by Cachefly at CACHEFLY.com.
This is Tech News Today for Monday, July 12th, 2010. Tech News Today is brought to you by GoToAssist Express. If you're in tech support, save time and money by supporting your clients and colleagues remotely with GoToAssist Express. For a free 30-day trial, visit GoToAssist.com/TNT. Welcome to Tech News Today. I'm Tom Merritt.
And I'm Sarah Lane.
Behind the board is our compiled producer, Erik Lanigan.
Hey, guys. How are you?
This is the show where we kick around the tech news of the day along with you, and we try to make sense of it all. We don't kick you, though. We just kick around the tech news with you.
Yeah.
Just want to make that
It's like
clear.
soccer.
Also joining us today is Darren Kitchen, host of Hack 5.
Woohoo!
Hey, thanks for having me.
Maybe we call you friend of the show.
Oh, I love that idea.
See, now Ryan Block was a little
He made it so
hesitant.
difficult.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, you guys.
Really?
Yeah.
Friend of the show sounds good.
He had to wait-
Podcaster at large.
You had
How's
to
that?
wait until you're not large podcaster.
No.
Podcaster at large.
Not yet.
So you're.
I just discovered the taco truck. We didn't have those on the East Coast, so give it some
Are
time.
you serious?
No, we didn't have that.
Because you have lots of trucks out there on the East Coast,
We
but
do.
no taco truck.
We might have had trucks that have tacos in them, but they don't sell them out of the sides of them.
Because you have like donut trucks and
I don't know what
cake
East Coast you've been
trucks.
to.
Well, New
They
York.
do?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Donuts.
Yeah, but not so much in like
not in the DC
greater
area.
DC area, Richmond area, Virginia.
Waffle trucks.
We had waffle houses, which you don't have here. Wow, this
We
is
don't have
evolving
houses
quickly.
here. Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the real estate problem?
We do have IHOP, so
I
think you
do,
could probably
yeah.
get a waffle there.
We also have an easy way to make Android apps, thanks to Google debuting its new DIY code tools, much like Lego, says BBC, and it's actually kind of true. App Inventor lets people drag blocks of code around to create their own applications. Great for children of all ages. Tool has been tested over the last 12 months by school children and college students. They should give it to some 40-year-olds. You know,
Yeah, I love the idea
some
of this
seniors.
in schools. It makes perfect sense. Hey, you can make an app. Let's make it easy. A little drag and drop action. But it's not just for kids either. I mean, it's for anybody who wants to try their hand out at creating an app, right? I mean,
Yeah,
it's
if you got
it's
an
not
idea
just a learning tool for anyone under 10.
You figure out there's people out there who are like, I've got this great idea for an app. I'm going to have to brush it up and learn how to code. Well, now you don't have to.
Right.
Well, this is also way better for the kids to get involved in programming than something like Alice, which is kind of like a lightweight programming thing geared at kids so that you can make a computer do something. And I'm sorry, making a computer do something just isn't as exciting today as it was when we booted up and all we had was BASIC and it was, monochrome.
World, yeah.
And that was awesome, right? But now the kids these days, they're all on their smartphones texting each other, and if they can make their phone do something cool, then, well, there you go. I think this is an awesome gateway drug into some real programming. And I'm really digging the whole drag and drop block style. I mean, it worked for Lego with their Mindstorm. I say go with it.
So how do you feel about the folks who say, well, all this is going to do is dilute app stores into a bunch of crap apps that people like us then have to wade through to actually find legit stuff rather than, it's kind of like crappy web pages versus
Sure,
the
that's
good
going to
stuff.
happen one way or another,
Right.
and we've got tons of crappy web pages that we just don't visit. I think that
Right, it's so easy to circumvent all that stuff.
Right, I think the Android Market Store still has just leaps and bounds to go. There needs to be just at least some basic filtering. I want to only see free apps with these keywords that are 4 stars and above. Just stupid little things.
I have to say, you don't get rid of the crap from an app store by making it harder to program for it.
Yeah.
Right.
So making it easier to program just means, well, you still have to fix that other problem. But to me, that's not a tool for fixing crap in the app store. You got to come up with these other ways to police it.
Yeah, you don't want to discourage people from
Yeah.
doing great things later on.
Because you're probably going to get better apps this way too. Because people who have great ideas might not have taken the time to learn how to code from the ground up. Now they have a chance to put something together. The programming system was developed with the help of computer scientist at Massachusetts Institute of Technology, Mitch Resnick. You may know him as the person who created OpenBlocks, a similar coding system. So he used the basis of that to create the programming language. You need a Gmail account, and you have to apply via a web form. So it's one of those, like, got any invites?
Well, right now.
Man,
And if anybody's
I need
Google,
into App Inventor.
I already applied. I can't
Cool, though.
wait to play with this.
It's like HyperCard for smartphones.
Yep.
Yeah, it is.
Stunned silence. It is. It's like you're building the interface step by step. Does no one remember HyperCard? Am I that old?
You're
You're definitely not that old, Eric.
It's a lot like the Lego Mindstorm we were talking about in the prep meeting. So it's just a cool programming system. There's been a lot of programming systems that make programming easy in the past, but it's the first one we have for apps.
Well, I haven't been a kid for a while, but I don't know if kids are introduced to computers with programming. Like
not like they used to be, like you were saying before.
Yeah, exactly. That was your entrance into computers.
Do you remember
you
Logo?
can program them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
with the turtle,
dude, QBasic was where it's at for me.
I did iChing in QBasic.
Nice.
Like, so it would give you a reading.
See, I hope that this comes with a bunch of sample applications. In fact, I plead anybody at Google, when you release this to the public, it must come with nibbles and gorillas, so that people can take apart the games and actually figure out how they work. Because trust me, as a kid, when you first start getting into programming, all you want to do is turn that gorilla into, like, a samurai or something.
Yeah. Yeah, well, and that's the fun of it, is taking apart something like that to learn how this stuff works. All right, we have a legal trifecta for you today. First of all, a Massachusetts federal judge, Nancy Gertner, slashed the damage award against admitted P2P user Joel Tenenbaum. I take a little issue with the way Nate Anderson at Ars Technica wrote this. He's an admitted copyright infringer, not just an admitted P2P user. I'm an admitted P2P. Have you used P2P?
Proud admitter.
You use P2P?
Every single day.
There's nothing wrong with admitting that you use P2P, but if you used it to infringe copyright, you might get in trouble like Joel Tenenbaum did. He had his damages slashed from $675,000 to $67,500 because the court said, hey, wait a minute. If a bar gets in trouble for playing music without paying the license to ASCAP BMI, they don't get charged $650,000. They don't even get charged $65,000, and they make money off of playing that music. It attracts in a crowd, and you hang out in the bar because you like the music there.
Which is it's an amazing point, and it makes perfect sense because it is true. You do hang out in, I mean, not just bars, but a restaurant, or it's like, oh, they have a great DJ there. They're always playing the good stuff. I like it there. That's my scene. And I'm going to buy a drink, and they're going to make money off of me. That's very different than someone having actual songs that they're taking, putting on their iPod Shuffle and running around the block with.
Gertner wrote, I cannot conceive of any plausible rationale for the discrepancy between the level of damages imposed in public performance cases and the damages awarded in this case. The disparity strongly suggests that the jury's $675,000 award is arbitrary and grossly expensive.
Well,
shocking.
Here's another thing. Going from $600,000 and change to $60,000 and change is certainly a good thing for the guy who couldn't pay the $600,000, but $60,000 can still bankrupt you.
Yeah, it's more important for the legal precedent it sets of saying, wait a minute, these awards are grossly inexpensive than actually helping poor Tenenbaum, who apparently said, I still can't pay.
Yeah, if it were me, I wouldn't be able to either.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Brazil is being awesome. Countries around the world have adopted the UN treaty called WIPO, the World Intellectual Property Organization Copyright Treaty, and they're putting in Digital Millennium Copyright Act type laws everywhere, which prevent you from breaking encryption in order to make a copy of something. But Brazil implemented it in a very reasonable way. In Brazil's version of the law, you can break DRM without breaking the law, provided you're not also committing a copyright violation. They say, look, we'll have this law that says you can't break the encryption in order to infringe copyright. But if you're breaking the encryption for fair use or to make a personal backup or to do something that's legal, then it's legal to break the encryption.
At what point, what's the purpose of the encryption in the first place? If you can just say, oh, well, you can break it for this and without that, well, why have the extra step? Let's just get rid of the DRM.
Well, that gets to the heart of the problem pretty quick, which is these encryption schemes are always breakable. That's why you have to have a law that says it's illegal to break them, because they never last without being broken.
And don't we have things like this already in the States? Like, what is it? The Library of Congress allows us to break encryption when it comes to unlocking our smartphones because they get to, 12 exceptions or something like that to the DMCA.
Right. This is a lot more sensible than that, which is every so often the Library of Congress has to review exceptions and say, oh, well, if you want to use an unlocked smartphone, okay, it's okay to break encryption. Oh, if you're going to use it for educational purpose, okay, it's okay to break encryption. This says, look, we're just going to say it right ahead of time. If you're not breaking the law, breaking the copyright law, then you can break the encryption. If you're breaking the law, then you can't break the encryption, and it doubles. It increases your penalty. So if you're gonna have to put this sort of thing in, I like the Brazilians.
I applaud them for this.
Yeah.
Do we have any circumstances we can think of where DRM is set to expire from within a file or set of files it's attached to? Let's say a song becomes part of public domain after 30 years.
The only thing I could think of is there have been cases where a service has gone out of business, and they've allowed
Google
you
Video.
to rip the songs down and remove the encryption. But even then, they didn't have
then
it.
the DRM
they didn't have
isn't
it built
associated
in,
with
yeah.
the.
I see.
Okay.
They didn't have it built into an expire.
Yeah, that didn't happen with the Google Video thing. They
No,
just
Google
gave us
Video
all.
just went away.
They just say, "Oh, hey, sorry, we're not doing this anymore. You can't watch your video."
We'll give you all your money back.
And then they gave us some money back, and that was
Because
BS.
nobody.
I didn't
bought
want the
any
money.
of them anyway. But yeah, I don't know if anybody has built one to have a timer.
I would love
They're-
somebody to do that.
Yeah.
It reminds me of not that I ever condone wares or anything, but back in the DOS days when you'd keep your software running by setting your clock back or potentially forward.
All right, so some mildly positive news, some really positive news, and now some
Finally.
horrible news. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals has ruled that. Wow, this is a tricky one to explain. Let's just read the first paragraph of the Ars Technica article because I think Matthew Lezar had a good explanation. Let's say a relative gave you an imported Omega watch over the holidays. It's a nice piece, but it's not exactly your style. So you go and you sell it on eBay. Thanks to a decision by the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, you might be breaking the law. In fact, the store that sold it, Costco, shouldn't have sold it in the first place, the court recently ruled, because the doctrine of first sale has limits. Section 109 of the Copyright Act says that a copyright owner of a product has the sole initial right to distribute it. Then the subsequent buyers have the right to sell or otherwise dispose of the possession of that copy. But the Ninth Circuit Court says this doesn't necessarily apply to items in which a company's copyrighted logo was inscribed on a product made abroad.
Wait, so Costco just has to keep all those watches then?
Costco's not allowed to buy them and sell them. What happened was Costco bought a bunch of Omega watches on the gray market. They didn't buy them from Omega.
Right.
And so they sold them in the
they
U.S.
weren't supposed,
For cheap.
according to this,
Yeah.
they weren't legally allowed to buy them.
If they had
because-
been made in the U.S., they would have been legally allowed to sell them because the U.S. law says there have been case law that says no, you can't stop someone from selling an item you've made. Once you've made it and you've sold it the first time, it can be resold.
So I guess none of us are going to make much money off of our future garage sales.
Not from any, we have to check and see if anything
We're getting rid of
we're
our
selling
books
is from
and our DVDs.
If it's from made outside of the country and has a logo on it, then you have to get permission to sell it, according to the Ninth Circuit Court.
Oh
Yes.
my goodness.
What's weird about this to me is I didn't know that logos were protected as copyright. I thought they were just trademarks.
Well, yes, that is true. Logos are usually a trademark, so I don't. How does that fit in?
Right, because the case in question is selling a watch that had a logo on the back. So I mean, they're not selling the artwork of the logo. They're selling the watch, and the logo is just the brand.
So what did the Ninth Circuit Court rule then, as far as trademarks?
It didn't. The articles didn't mention trademark at all. They just talked about copyright in that it's logos.
What about fake Nike shirts made abroad?
Well, they're fake. You're already in trouble there.
But what if you don't know that? I mean, the point is, like, this whole thing just makes everything so convoluted unnecessarily. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'm against this.
This is ridiculous. The court said, we hold that the precedent did not invalidate our general rule insofar as the claims involve domestically made copies of U.S. copyrighted works. That's the first sale to doctrine doesn't apply because the law says the owner of a particular copy or phono record. Do you have a lot of phono records?
Plenty.
I just moved. I have way too many phono records. The owner of a particular copy or phono record lawfully made under this title or any person authorized by such owner is entitled without the authority of the copyright owner to sell or otherwise dispose of the possession of that copy or phono record. The Ninth Circuit Court interprets the lawfully made under this title phrase to mean legally made and sold in the United States. So they say this only allows you to do the resale
that's their
if it was
interpretation.
made in the United States. And that's not the way that should be interpreted.
I don't think that's.
Yeah, I think
Almost
that's
nothing's made in the United States anymore. It's
fuzzy
all imported.
interpretation.
I'm
Yeah, and
just
this
a
is-
small town boy.
I don't know. This is just shake up in the age where what people expect and old business models and what they expected collide. Where come on, it's a global economy. It's it's get with it.
I've been made fun of before for bringing up mercantilism in this kind of situation, but we actually we actually have had we've made a lot of progress in not making up fake rules that prevent people from doing things that are natural.
Right.
And mercantilism was that system of, let's try to make trade illegal everywhere but with us, so that we keep all the money. We're always selling and never buying. And eventually countries realized, well, that doesn't make any damn sense. You can't make everything you need to survive as a country. You have to have trade. And so we've had freer trade, freer and freer trade. This kind of thing is a step back, in my opinion. It says, oh, let's make up some rules that restrict the ability of people to buy and sell goods.
Yeah, it's completely arbitrary.
Someone in the chat room had a good point. What about cars? What happens to the used car market under something like this?
Seriously, the implications of this are vast and boundless. That's a great point.
Because the logo on the back is a copyrighted work. I mean, that's bizarre.
Yeah.
As much as Omega watches, apparently.
Yeah.
You can't. Well, as long as that car was made in the United States, then you're fine. It's a good reason to buy American, except Ford and GM make tons of cars outside of the United States, and Toyota and other Japanese companies and German companies make tons of cars within the United States. So how do you know the car you bought was made here or there?
Exactly.
You have to track
And where
down
was the
factory.
logo made?
I'm sorry, Tom. Are you trying to sell that used car? Because I don't think you can. If you don't want it anymore, it's just going to have to go to the landfill.
I have a Toyota. Was it made in the U.S. or not? I don't know.
Well, if the little Toyota logo in the back was made overseas, then you're screwed.
Right.
It's yours forever.
This episode of Tech News Today is brought to you by GoToAssist Express. If your job is in tech support, hey, your job is in tech support.
No, not anymore.
Well, it used to be. There's an easy way for you to save time and money, and it can make you look like a hero. You want to look like a hero, don't you? To your clients and colleagues. It's GoToAssist Express, brought to you by our friends at Citrix. Leo loves the Citrix guys. If you've listened to any other shows on the TWiT network, you know this. They go way back. And GoToAssist Express is an easy and secure way to support your clients and colleagues online. It enables you to see a problem on their machine without having to be there. So you can help out your mom and fix her computer across state lines without actually having to look over her shoulder and see what's going on. You can just go in there and fix the registry setting or change that MS config and tweak it whichever way you want. It's specifically designed for small businesses and professionals to support clients, though. The best part is you don't have to pre-install software onto your customer's machine. They don't have to have anything. You can help them out remotely. Try GoToAssist Express free for 30 days by visiting gotoassist.com/TNT.
It's great for servers, too, if you use the unattended
You've used
support.
it a bunch, haven't you? Yeah.
I like installing it on the servers and using it for my clients. Because then it's, all of that in one interface.
And you don't have to get them to install anything then.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah. That's good.
You do it once and then you're like, oh, Tina, that problem again? Boop, 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 you're there.
Yeah.
And you don't have to have Tina try to explain what the problem is because Tina has no idea what's going on.
Exactly. Just walking Tina
What
through,
window's open,
hey,
Tina?
Go to fastsupport.com,
file?
enter in this code, and then let the Java thing do its thing. You
And
only
then
do
I'll
that
fix your
once.
computer.
And then you just go, oh, is that a poltergeist? No, that's me moving your mouse.
Poultrygeist?
Poltergeist.
Whatever. Move on.
Microsoft has decided to give businesses more times to downgrade to Windows XP. We should have seen this coming because they've been saying, oh no, now that Windows 7's out, you can't downgrade. Oh, well, we'll give you 18 months. They changed it to 18 months. But after 18 months, or Service Pack 1 hits for Windows 7, that's it. Well, Service Pack 1's in beta. We're getting close to the 18 months, and Microsoft has decided, okay, fine, we'll give you until Windows 7 is done. Till Windows 7 hits the end of its life cycle. So, and I don't think they mean the extended life cycle like Windows XP is in.
I was about to say, because this could get recursive real quick.
I think they mean until the next version of Windows is released, you'll be able to downgrade to Windows XP. And the interesting thing about this is so many companies have bought Windows 7 under the downgrade license so that they could keep some people on XP, that they're complaining, well, if you don't let us buy future versions of Windows 7, how do we keep track of how many licenses are downgraded and how many aren't? It's just too confusing, so Microsoft threw up their hands and said, fine, customers can buy whatever till Windows 7's done. Fine, we don't care.
And they said it just in that voice.
That was pretty bad.
Just fine, just do it.
Yeah.
But XP for everybody.
The option to downgrade machines to XP throughout the life cycle of Windows 7. I still think that doesn't quite mean the entire life.
An extended support for Windows XP Professional is August 8th, 2014. So we're going to have that
for now.
For now. Yeah, I know.
Was there ever a precedent set like this where companies were they wanted to install an operating system that was up to I mean, it'll be like 20 years old by the time that Windows 7 is considered gone.
Absolutely. I mean, this is not downgrading was available for Windows 98 or for Windows XP. When you bought Windows XP, you could downgrade it to Windows 98. But
it's like a 3-year difference, though.
It has never been as big of an issue as it has with Windows XP, or as it was with Windows Vista. Yeah. Definitely. Windows XP lasted a long time.
Well, it looks like XP's got 12 years of legs, so.
That's a lot of legs.
Yeah, I know.
12 of them.
Yeah, those are some long legs on that Windows
I'm
XP.
a legs man, too.
AT&T's handed out free 3G microcells to loyal customers. Sean Hollister at Engadget reporting that a couple folks just got letters in the mail saying, yeah, you know what? We're going to offer you a 3G microcell, no strings attached. Just bring this letter into the local store. So they popped on down to the local store, and the people said,
I don't know what this is.
Okay,
but
fine. Here's your microcell.
Here you go.
AT&T is saying that they're in the process of trialing different ways of offering the microcell. I don't
Trialing them. I love I love this.
Well, one way is selling it.
Or the other way is, so, Tom, looks like your contract's running up soon. Now, I know that you were thinking about that other carrier, but we've got a great deal for you. Instead of a new phone, how about we actually give you a device that will allow you to have the service that you
We know
pay
you've
for in
never
your
been
house?
able to make a call in your home. What if we let you?
Yeah.
Maybe you'd like to stay with
You
us.
could connect to this microcell. And, I mean, we're still going to charge you for the data that you use when you're using this microcell, even
But
though it's
at least
actually
the
piggybacking
microcell's
on your own
free.
broadband.
Yeah. If you don't know, the microcell allows you to extend coverage into your home by using your internet connection. So you have to have an internet connection, and then the microcell makes your calls and sends your data requests over your internet connection, and then charges you for it, even though you're already paying for
And you
it.
pay $150 for
What does it normally
Microsoft.
retail for?
Unless you're one of these
I don't know.
150.
$180. Oh no, sorry, 150.
And it's sometimes called a femtocell,
Unless you
which is a fun
get
word.
something in the mail that says you just go right on down to your AT&T store and we'll give you one for free, which just happened to 2 people.
Video card fan?
Huge video
card fan?
I'm a mild video card fan.
Video card fan?
Yeah.
I own one. There's one in my laptop.
Just bought one yesterday.
Well, Nvidia's GeForce GTX 460 is out, and video card fans seem to be very excited about it. And Nantech calls it the $200 king.
There's a lot to be excited about. I mean, it's it's what the 465 should have been. If you've been following the Nvidia series, I mean, everybody wants the 480, but it's a $500 card. I mean, almost pulled the trigger on it yesterday, but then I was like, oh.
Glad you waited now.
I am, well, that's the thing is I'm sitting in Fry's, but then I'm tethered to my laptop, and I'm like, do I really want to pull the trigger on this 480? I mean, it's $500, right? And the only reason I want it, I mean, aside from Modern Warfare 2, is that I can justify it that Premiere CS5 has this awesome feature where it does HD video rendering in real time using your GPU.
Oh, that is neat.
Yeah, so no more of that like sluggy, scrubbing across the timeline. It's buttery smooth. And but it was only for the 285 and the 480, or some of the really expensive Quattro FX cards, which I'm just not springing for. I'm on a Hack 5 budget here. So turns out there's a hack where you just go into this little text file called compatiblecards.txt, and you enter in the name of your card.
Me.
And no, I'm serious. That's
Yeah.
pretty much what it is called. And yeah, it turns out if it's any of the NVIDIA cards with CUDA. So the 460 is what I was going to buy yesterday, but they didn't have it in store. So.
And
This thing is hot.
The problem with the 465 was, in fact, that it was hot. It had the power consumption of a much more expensive card, but lower performance. And so the 460 has fixed those problems, and it's basically what people are saying is it's what the 465 should have been.
Right.
So today you can get the GTX 460, 768 megabytes at $199, or you can go to 1 gigabyte and get it for $229. So much more affordable, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know if I would, somebody in chat was asking, Fly on the Wall says, worth upgrading from a GS 260? Yeah.
Yes.
Probably.
Even I know that. I don't know that much about video cards, but yeah.
I quit caring after EGA.
Oh. California Games was way better on VGA. Just going to put that out there.
SVGA.
Oh, yeah. Well.
A hacker has created a plugin that pretty much eliminates all of Chrome's security. this plugin it's a keylogger. Is that how it works?
That's one of the things it can do. In fact, this very much reminds me of something like the browser exploitation framework, and that's the kind of stuff that you hear about on Hack 5. But this is I love this, taking Chrome down a notch. Don't get me wrong, I am a Chrome puff. I absolutely, I switched over, and I want to go back to Firefox because, she was the one I was dancing with, but, I showed up to the party and Chrome's looking hot. And it's about time that she gets brought down a peg, because any browser is vulnerable to these sort of things. And the fact that, hey, you install a malicious plugin.
Are browsers like ships? Like they're always ladies?
I tend to think so.
It's time for the Chrome lady to get down a notch.
Except for Internet Explorer. That's like an old man.
Oh, yeah.
Internet Explorer 6 is kind of a dirty, insecure old man.
With beer goggles, she's okay.
Yeah.
But...
So tell about this plugin. Essentially,
it's Firefox showing her age now.
Well, the idea here would be someone would put it out as a plugin that purported to be something else, like maybe
right now it's just a proof of concept plugin.
But the hacker Andreas Grech employed the coded plugin using jQuery to track users' login information and have it emailed to himself.
Right, so you could sniff passwords, and it's good stuff. Or not sniff, but you steal them using JavaScript, and you could do the same thing with many other web technologies like Beef or something like that. But the fact that it's there as a plugin. I mean, years ago people are you can't get viruses on a Mac, but then there's going to be a proof of concept Trojan if you want to go out of your way to be stupid enough to go ahead and run it. And
and this is just good for Google Chrome because it essentially shows up a vulnerability that can now be fixed.
Mm-hmm.
This is not a bad exploit where people have been harmed out in the world, sort of like the time capsules with the dodgy power supplies that were sold between somewhere around 2008. I think it was February and June 2008. A bunch of time capsules just had faulty power supplies, so they just turn themselves off and sometimes lose a bunch of your data.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not what you want in a product that you bought to back up things.
Exactly. That's what time capsule does.
But it was late hired.
Apple says that time capsules with issues have a serial number between XX807 and XX814, and if you have one of those time capsules in that range exhibiting power supply problems, they will extend the warranty and replace it free of charge. If you have data on your time capsule, they offer you a few different options depending on your location and what the geniuses are capable of in your neighborhood. And if you've paid for repairs in the past, they'll credit you. They'll make those repairs free.
Well, they should. This is it's a faulty product, right?
Yeah, maybe they should do that with other faulty products.
Wouldn't that be
have
nice?
Out. Like, I don't know, the Consumer Reports folks don't seem to think they can recommend the iPhone 4 because of the antenna problem.
In fact, they've unrecommended it, haven't they?
Yeah.
Did they recommend it initially
and
then said, no, we changed our mind? Or are they just saying, we're not recommending this and this is our first and official stance?
I'm not sure how many stages they have at Consumer Reports, but I don't think it ever made it to the big board.
Right.
But I know that their initial coverage of it was positive. They said, we think this phone's really good. But they finally got their finished tests done, and they've said, no, there's a design defect here, and you can fix it with some masking tape. You can fix it with a case. But the fact that Apple is doing nothing to fix it, and the fact that we can demonstrate that it has a significant data and call loss when held in an improper manner means we can't recommend it. They like everything else about it. They like the screen. They like the...
well, there are a lot of products that are great in a lot of ways, except for a really faulty one thing. I mean, Consumer Reports is nothing to sneeze at. I mean, that's a big...
They're highly respected.
Yeah, highly respected, and a lot of people are paying attention to Consumer Reports. I'm just glad I don't have an iPhone 4 yet.
They finish up their write-up here saying, if you want an iPhone that works well without a masking tape fix, we continue to recommend the 3GS. So I think this is really pushing Apple.
This has got to push Apple, and I hope that more people continue to push Apple, because all they've been doing lately is playing the same old Apple game of, what do you mean? There's no problem. Oh, yeah, you're holding it wrong. Oh, well, you need to buy a bumper. We're going to have a software update. And come on, just keep pushing them because
you're
know
reading
that
the
there's got to
bars
be
inaccurately.
Exactly. There's got to be a guy. There has to be a contingency plan in the works right now at Apple. I would hope to come out with maybe something. And please, free bumpers isn't the fix.
Well, it could be. I mean, honestly, if they
shouldn't have to get a rubber band for a product that
if they sold every iPhone 4 with a free bumper, at least it would work.
No.
At least it's a
what are they
phone
going to do?
that
Like
works.
send everybody that
You
ever
know
bought
what?
one
Even
a
if
free
that
bumper?
was true,
Yes.
it's still a faulty model.
You know-
I mean, you've got this beautiful. I mean, I think everyone can agree that if you're not talking about how it works, you look at it and the hardware and the form factor and everything about it is gorgeous. And you've got to buy this piece of,
Yes.
you know what, bumper thing, which I'm using one, and yes, it does help, but it really defeats the purpose of having this beautiful. I like to ride bareback. When
Yeah.
we're talking about iPhones.
No,
I don't
I'm
like to
feeling
put
you there.
anything on it.
I do the same thing
And
with
I
my
have
Droid.
to now.
Yeah.
I go
And, you know-
commando with my iPhone too.
And you know what? Like Nintendo did the same thing. Remember this with the Wiimote, and they sent out the Wii condom to everybody, and it's
Right.
like nobody wants to wear the Wii condom.
No, it yeah.
Doesn't feel the same.
It doesn't.
Thank you for. I knew somebody had to.
These things just happen.
It wasn't my turn. So
I
had
didn't
to
set
wait.
it up. For the record, that was Hack 5 Darren.
Ministry of Defense in the UK has lifted the lid on an unmanned combat plane prototype called Tyrannus.
Yes.
Which is what the Norse or the Celtic god of thunder. Defense Minister Gerald Howarth said it was truly a trailblazing project. That's underselling it, man. This thing is not a drone that just flies over and does reconnaissance. This is fly it in remotely and shoot them up and engage in dogfights with other robot aircraft.
And of course, you're not going to stand a chance against this thing because it can pull G's that your human body can't.
Yeah. The only thing that can counter this would be another robotic unmanned combat.
And-
How,
but
how many
we're-
G's
Maybe
before
not
someone
robotic. I shouldn't
dies?
use the word
9.
robotic.
9?
Well, 9 until they
9 Gs
black
will
out.
kill you?
Not kill you, but make you black out.
So that you can't fly a
Yeah,
plane.
yeah. If you're wearing like a suit, you know, special GeForce suit.
And so how many G's would something like this be able to pull?
I don't know. But I just
Above
know
9.
that more above 9, so it could turn. I mean, because that's what it is with dogfighting. Is you're circling around each other, just one person trying to get around the
I'd
next.
like to see a Blue Angels troop
Yeah.
where they can just really get crazy because nobody's actually in them.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to black out here.
Blue angel-less.
I mean, one part of me is like really sad because you know the Top Gun in me that wants to race fighter jets on my motorcycle and stuff like that is sad to see that the era of the human is coming to an end when it comes to our combat. But then I'm actually really excited about this because it can technically do better stuff.
Well, and you get a wider pool of pilots. Because
Yeah.
you don't have to be in physical shape to pilot it anymore.
Not only that, but you could have it potentially be flying for a lot longer. You could have a Beowulf cluster of humans, driving this thing, flying, piloting. That's the word. But
Anyway.
where does it end? Where does it end? So we start with the UAVs. The next thing you know, you've got remote control quadruped soldiers on the ground, and then you've got like mechanical sharks with lasers in the seas. And we don't need this. We
need this.
Okay.
That's
I like
awesome.
this.
You could be a fighter pilot at any age.
I could be a fighter pilot and also control the quadruped with the machine gun that's walking around
I
like
could
that,
be
like that dog.
a laser shark pilot.
Yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
This is only a prototype, so this is them demonstrating that it can work. They don't have a fleet of these things yet, but it is the first step.
Your
along
next
the way.
Virgin America flight still will have a pilot.
Yes, exactly.
Well, there's got to be somebody to run the autopilot.
On to the calendar. Sprint has announced a handful of 4G rollouts, including such far-flung locales as Rochester, Syracuse. I think Becky Worley's from Rochester originally. I know Sargent is, right?
Sargent is. I thought Becky was from Hawaii.
Well, she grew up in Hawaii, but she was born in Rochester. If I have that right.
Let's find out.
Merced, where my other dog Sawyer is from. Visalia, California. Eugene, Oregon. And Yakima, Washington.
Merced and Visalia, California.
Yeah,
You
sorry.
mean- Places like California.
Places like California.
Yakima, Washington. All right. Evo sales spiking.
They don't have
already.
enough Evos to sell
Yeah.
in these 4G areas because they've been on complete back order on the Evo 4G, which is a testament to the Evo.
So that's sort of the main problem, right? Is that 4G areas are opening up. 4G phones need to catch up to the areas that now can support the 4G phone.
Better than the other way around.
Totally.
Yep. And Becky Worley popped in here and said that tomorrow is the end of extended support for Windows XP, SP2, and Windows 2000. So if you have any problems with those, you might want to get your call in tonight.
Those were the days. I miss them. Tom, you want to move on to voicemails?
Yes, let's go to Liam, who called in and has some thoughts about YouTube on 4K.
Hey guys, it's Liam on the show. I was just making a comment on the YouTube, I guess 4K video. I really think that it's almost unnecessary there's so many YouTubers that are making a career out of YouTube, when making videos should not really be a career. You're not really doing a lot. I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think about it?
No,
all right,
you know,
thanks.
Liam, after
Liam
today's
really
show,
makes a good
you're
point.
Damn.
Yeah,
Never thought about it that way.
It's fun for cat videos and people falling and tripping.
Right.
Trying to make a career out of doing what we're doing right now
maybe Django could
seems
make
a
a
little
career.
far-fetched.
No, I think she's shown even she can make it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
His voicemail makes me reassess my entire life.
Yeah.
You know, if you put a lot of effort into it, there's probably going to be a dog that just unplugs something. So it's probably best if you just don't make a career out of video.
I think what Liam was saying was that, you know, there's a lot of people are trying to make money by putting up just, you know,
stupid stuff
that they shot around their house.
Yeah.
And the expectations are greater than the return.
I think on YouTube,
If I may interpret what Liam was
I think you're interpreting it correctly. I also think YouTube is so big that there's room for everybody.
But Liam, if that's not what you thought, call back. We'll all quit.
And I want 4K cat videos.
All right, we also got a call from Mike, who he thinks he's got a solution for the silent hybrid car problem.
Hey guys, this is Mike in South Florida. Just wanted to comment on the hybrids and the sound issue. Why don't they just go to TomTom route and sell sounds? Make your hybrid sound like a Harley, M1 Abrams, or even a TIE Fighter or whatever, Millennium Falcon. I mean, they could really make some extra money and have some fun with it. Thanks. Love the show.
I like it.
So every time you start it from a stop sign, it goes, use the force.
No, I think he's thinking
Tom,
more like...
you've turned off your targeting unit. What's wrong?
Exactly. I'm thinking more along the lines of like, you know, like the noises that that TIE Fighter makes when it, you know.
I was at the bank, and I was pulling into a parking space, and this woman wasn't looking, and I was just kind of creeping up. Then finally she turned around and she went like jumped back. Got out of the way, and I kind of laughed, and I was like, sorry about that. She's like, it's just your car was so silent. I didn't hear you come up.
Yeah, what are you going to do, honk at her?
And I said, oh, I'm sorry. And she's like, no, it's beautiful. Whoa. I don't think she would have reacted the same way if I had the X-Wing sound effect.
Well, did you tell her you were using the Battlestar Galactica sound effect? You know?
That's it.
Like the ships making BSG or Firefly?
Yes, that is the sound effect I have on
Actually,
my car.
you know what? I want the TARDIS sound effect.
As you drive down the highway.
It would sound like my car's like trying so hard.
I think this is the sort of thing that sounds really cool in theory. You know, like ringtones
Customize
do.
it. Yeah.
And then after
really
the third time your phone rings, everyone else in the office wants to, you know, shove you down a well.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just a thought.
260-TNT show is the phone number if you have thoughts and you'd like to phone them into us. Lots of people do. We don't play everyone on the show, but we do pick a couple of examples. We do listen to everyone that gets called in. So thank you for your submissions. Try to keep them under like 30 seconds.
Usually
they have a better chance of getting played just because of time constraints and all of that. Let's move on to the emails. TNT@twit.tv is the email address. And Sarah has the first one.
Oh, I'm sorry about that. This one's from Davey. He says, hello, TNT. During the discussion of the hacked Apple accounts you talked about, how could someone use a dictionary to guess your password? In my experience, most accounts have a limit to how many attempts you have before it locks you out, and then you have to reset the whole thing. Even if it's a relatively simple password, with this limitation, would it still be difficult to successfully guess the right password? Is there a way around this type of security?
Yes, there are ways around that. You would think like, oh, well, somebody running a dictionary attack first, 3 times their bot attempts and get locked out. But
well, then you do the first 2, and if it's going to give you another option 2 minutes and 1 second later, then you go 2 minutes and 2 seconds later, whatever it is. Yeah,
change IP address.
Exactly. You could have a whole botnet of these things. And you know what? Whatever their workaround might be, their limitations, it's still no excuse for having a dictionary password. Throw some leet in there.
Something, some number. I mean,
put your
not
ex-girlfriend's phone number in there. Just tack your ex-girlfriend's phone number on the end of it, and there you go.
And her social security number.
Or Sarah Lane's social security number.
Right, which is 321-123-45.
TNT show.
E wrote in, said, hello, TNT crew. Although I have used iTunes for quite some time, since version 4.7, I never had the need to set up an iTunes account. I've never bought a single song from iTunes. I prefer to get my music the old-fashioned way. I earn it. No, he says he rips it from CDs. Recently, all that changed when a few days ago I got an iPhone 3GS. So what I ended up doing for my account was to use one of those temporary credit card numbers some banks allow you to create. It's not a whopping credit limit of $2 and an expiration date of 6 months. It's got, I should say, not. Good luck to whoever hacks into my account. All they can get is a couple of apps or songs, and I will know that it's time to get a better password.
I get the feeling that he has this disposable card that lasts 6 months and he can refill it. So it's got $2 in it now, but maybe if he wants to, like, load it up.
Those one-time use credit card numbers are great.
Yeah, I wish that my bank supported that stuff.
Yeah.
It's very good.
Bank of America does that.
Now, see, because I use Bank of America, so how easy is it for me to get a temporary credit card? I mean, do I have to actually get a card in the mail?
No,
I'm not used to it.
You go on the website, you say, you log into your account, and you say, give me a temporary credit card number. They give it to you. They say, how much do you want it to be good for? You say, $2 in this case, or $53, or whatever your purchase is. You go to checkout. You put in your credit card number. It gets authorized for that amount. And if somebody steals that number, it won't be good for anything else.
Wow. And so this isn't in more widespread use because
I think PayPal does it too. According
people
to
get confused if they have too many numbers to keep track of.
People just don't know it's there, or they think it's way too complicated.
Interesting.
Yeah.
These disposable credit cards are great. I mean, even those little gift ones that you can pick up at the drugstore are perfect for all sorts of things, like taking them to the pub, whatever.
You do lose a little money on them.
Well, I
think if you could buy,
it depends on how much you drink. You might make out on the deal.
Tell us more, Darren.
No, we're going to move on.
So if you'd like to find more about that hack or other hacks, you perhaps like to watch Darren's show, Hack 5.
That's HAK5.org. You can find us out every Wednesday at revision3.com and hack5.org.
Thanks, man. Thanks for being on the show. It was great to have you.
Anytime. This is good.
Love to have you on again. And thanks to you all for watching. Give us a call, 260-TNT-SHOW. Email us, TNT@twit.tv, or find us on the web at twit.tv/TNT. We'll see you next time.